Morning.
Hey.
Hey everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
We said good morning.
Yeah.
But it's Friday.
Yeah, end of the week.
A very special Friday. Because we've got this kit to give away.
Hey.
And let's see, what else is it? It's just about, I just posted this yesterday on our social media, which was actually, I guess technically, depending on how you go about the timing, a day late, but it's 1 month to the end of the contest too.
Yeah.
As far as like the date, the special day, it's just the middle of September though.
Mecha Musume contest.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys didn't see that post, if you have no idea what I'm talking about now at this point, I feel like probably hard to believe, but if you guys have not heard of our Mecha Musume contest, you do still have plenty of time.
Yep.
A month. So I mean, even if you were to start today, you have ample time.
So it's a nice shirt. Yeah. Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have a Darth Maul one too, but
those look the same art style.
Yeah. So check it out, guys. Kotobukiya is sponsoring, giving tons of really cool prizes.
A lot.
A lot of prizes that they gave for us to give out for this. So check those out too. But really cool contest. So excited to see what everyone does for that.
Lots of entries. Between the two categories, we have over 200 entries now from you guys. So I mean, not everybody finishes. Usually in contests, I find we have about 60-70% of people who enter end up finishing. So even still, I mean, we'll have over 100. So that'll be a lot to go through. And so, you have until October 14th. We'll do the judging, and then we'll probably announce that via live stream, the winners after that. But that's a little bit further on down the line. Today, we got this.
Yes.
And what else is new here?
Tons. Huge restock. So got a huge restock that came in Tuesday
morning.
Tons of pallets. So check out that restock. We just got a whole bunch of stuff this last night, but it got checked in this morning. If you guys go to the blog section on the USA Gundam Store site, you can see the list of everything that came in on those two restocks. Tons of really good kits. If you guys signed up for email notifications, I know as soon as we were checking stuff in, people were ordering it because they got emails that it was back in stock. Real Great God Gundam. Our first batch came in, which covered all of our pre-orders. Our second batch will be here next week, which I guess if you pre-ordered after Tuesday, it is actually on this next batch that we'll actually have next week. So, and plenty of those, but they're going quick. So if you want one, you definitely can reserve it now. And then when they come in next week, we'll get those out as fast as we can. So
there's a lot of stuff that came in.
A ton of stuff.
And some really cool stuff. Like one of the things we talked about was the Master Grade Gundam X, but that was gone real fast.
Yeah, that was gone in
I didn't get a whole lot.
No. But, I think those are gone in an hour.
Yeah.
And we got a few cases of them, but
stuff like that just hasn't come out for a long time.
Right.
Hasn't been reprinted.
Yeah, we're talking about the BB Senshi kits. Some of those haven't been produced since we've been in business. Yeah. So, but a lot of those came back in stock, like the O BB one was there. A lot of older BB Senshi kits. So check those out, guys. Man.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. So check out those lists, guys. There's tons of kits that haven't been made in a while. There's probably at least a good 30 kits that haven't been made since COVID. And even probably another 30 that have not been made since probably 2 or 3 years before that. The Master Grade Zeong, which I don't know if we have any left, but if we do, those came in. I know a lot of people put, back ordered that or pre-ordered that when we put it for pre-order.
Not very old, but the Master Grade Virtue, we got a bunch more of those in.
We did get a bunch of those in.
Not got one of those yet. It's a fairly new one, but
Real Grade Sosby, Real Grade Hainu, tons of high grade UC kits. There's just a lot. It's probably one of our
ones.
Biggest shipment probably since COVID that we've gotten. So definitely check it out.
So check out that restock list. There you guys can see the whole list of everything there. And anything else new on the way that we know of?
The Metal Build Hainu might be here today. So if you guys pre-ordered that, that'll be shipping out as fast as we can get those out. It might be here Monday. Hopefully one of those 2 days. No, probably just because everything came on these 2 last shipments that were pretty big. So you know, it was nice as they kind of got us our whole. I think this is August's, might be July's order that was supposed to come, but they gave us it all in one, you know, giant container. So then,
nice.
we'll get less kind of throughout the week because they gave it all to us in one giant chunk. So, which I'd rather them do.
Sure.
So then we have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you don't have people asking about it. So we'll get into you guys' questions, get to the giveaway. Other important news to share. Everybody say congratulations to Adam's having a baby tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I have a present for you.
Oh my gosh.
Here you are. You can open it now if you really want to, or open it with your wife.
This
later.
is I'll open it with my wife.
Yeah.
But now everyone on the live stream's like, oh, we want to know what it is.
And that's it. There you go. Card and a smaller present.
That is really nice. I did not know you were gonna. You didn't have to do this.
Surprise!
That was nice.
I was hiding it over here.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
Because this is not a very big space.
No, but I mean it's cluttered enough. I mean, I can hide something, but maybe not like quite that big.
Thank you. I'll send you pictures.
Yeah, you probably want to open it later, but I can at least give it to you now. And everybody say congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Are you excited?
Yeah, nervous. First boy. You know, got 2 girls, so.
Well, they're young. It's not that different.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone says it's easier with boys, but that might be later on in life. Who knows? But yeah,
I like them both.
If she doesn't go into labor now, they're going to induce her tomorrow. So, yeah.
You might get a text at any moment. I was going to say, you might have to run out. But all right, guys, so let's get into some of your questions. I know there's probably a few people asking about this, but the first one right off the bat is Tyler's asking about what do you think the most likely announcement as the new Vercon. So we've talked about this a couple of times. But we actually have a timeline of when it's going to be announced.
Yeah, we do have a timeline now, which is nice. I've got an idea just based off of what I was told a long time ago. But if we're going off it, let's just pretend that's not in the running. And they decide just to do something else.
I'm still thinking that's still the most likely thing is the 2.0 RX-78.
Yeah, I hope not. I really do. I mean, it'd be cool to get like a. I mean, they did why can't I think of it? The Zaku from Thunderbolt, Psycho Zaku, but they didn't do like any other Zaku, so that's a possibility.
But for like the 20th anniversary,
they might want to go big. What would be big that they could go? Oh, the G Self.
Not sure what that has to do with the 20th anniversary, but it would be unique, definitely.
Let's be honest, it'd be a unicorn is what it's going to be.
No. That's the one thing we know that it's not going to be. We can definitely, I mean, you can rule out like among the kits that Bandai loves to produce, like the unicorn, you can rule that out. The Wing Gundam, we obviously just got that, so.
That'd be cool. A GPO1 that maybe you can make the full burner and kind of all together in one set would be nice. Like an MG Verka version of the PG, essentially. Yeah, that would be really cool. Definitely. We'll see. I don't know. What if it was like the Mark II? Something. I'd be fine with that too. Yeah, I don't know. Really don't know, but we'll find out on the 29th. So I'm hoping that just like the day before or like 2 days before or something, they'll do a silhouette. No. That they'll show like the actual time of when the announcement's going to be, so that if it's like during the working time, like we can be in here and have like a live reaction. Yeah, that'd be cool. But usually what they do is it's announced. It would be like the 28th for us at like 10 p.m. It's usually when we get the announcements, because then it's what 10-ish there. Yeah, sometimes they drop at like on midnight, like as soon as it's that date. But I don't know if they're gonna have like some kind of live stream announcement. Yeah, possibly. Cool. We'll see. If they do have a time, that'd be cool to sit here, have a live reaction, keep refreshing. Like, there it is. Yeah. So hopefully we can do that. We'll see if it's during a time when we're going to be at home or something. We'll still maybe try to figure out something. Get on split screen like we used to. Yeah, right. Maybe that's what we need to put like a divider. Hang a strip, just like a paper, like a black paper here, so it looks like we're like still split screen, but in the same room, make it look really weird. Kyle asked a non-Gundam question: Autobots or Decepticons? Decepticons. This is always a weird one for me. People ask this about like Federation and Xeon.
as well in Gundam.
Yeah, I'm not a Fetty person. I mean, I am a Fetty person in Gundam, but I do like Decepticons because I feel like the Autobots are mostly automobiles.
Yeah.
And Decepticons are everything else.
Yeah. So you're just talking about not like ideology.
Oh yeah,
designs.
no, yeah, they're evil, but yeah, not ideology. The designs are usually
cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's the thing, because that's why it's weird for me. Like when people ask that, or when people ask like, "Oh, are you like a Fetty or a Xeon fan?" I feel like they're like the difference is like when you're asking about that, that's like the philosophy or like the ideology of the faction, right? Like that's weird. And then like obviously, why would you pick like the bad
bad guys?
But if you're just talking about like design wise, yeah.
I mean, if you're a bad guy, maybe you would like the. But every bad guy thinks they're a good guy.
Maximals. There you go. All right. What's the best way to clean out an airbrush?
Ooh, so this is why I probably use siphon and not gravity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for this reason alone.
Then you have to clean the bottles.
No, you switch out the bottles. So when I have a siphon airbrush, I have a bunch of bottles of different colors, and all I do is put the little top on that bottle, spray that one, take it out, put the top back on, and then I have a bottle that has like 91% alcohol, or if I'm doing, might have like some sort of thinner.
Yeah.
I just pop that bottle in, spray that, and now it's clean, and then I can pop in the next color. So that's why I like siphon fed, just because it's easy to transition back and forth. Versus gravity fed, because then I feel like it's a little bit harder to clean in between colors.
Yeah, depends on how precise you want to be about it. One thing that I will say, I've not tried these, but those like airbrush cleaning kits that come with like
the little
what do you call that? I don't know.
Pipe cleaner.
Yeah, kind of thing. I've heard not to use those. I've heard that it's better. The filaments
get stuck in there.
Yeah, it's better not to use those. So if you guys are getting into airbrushing and like you see this airbrush cleaning kit, I would ask around. From what I've heard, people recommend not. I've had people tell me not to use it. I've never used one and I've been fine. So. Yeah,
so I do have a ultrasonic cleaner that does a really good job.
Yeah, that was definitely.
So after I'm done, so I'll do my colors, and it's always smart to go lighter color to darker color. I think when you're switching out colors too, because you don't want to go from like red to white, and then all of a sudden you're spraying out some pink. But when I'm done for the day, I'll throw it in my ultrasonic cleaner, and that does amazing job.
Yeah, I would put mine in like once a month.
Yeah,
not that often. I'm not that diligent about it. Yeah, but of course, if you can, it's better to clean more often. Sure. For me though, I mean, typically I would just have like just some junk thinner. Not like your hobby thinner, but just like some cheap thinner from the hardware store or something that I would just use to flush through the airbrush.
You can also do, was it 409? I've done that too, where I've had a bottle of 409 that I just pop in there and spray it, and then I had another bottle that had water and to clean it out, and that usually did a pretty good job as well. They make airbrush cleaners, but I've never used that. Yeah,
compared to like just. Like I said,
91% alcohol or something like that. Yeah,
cheaper alternatives.
Right.
Yeah. I have some airbrush cleaner, like a small bottle that I would use like occasionally if like something was like really dirty, if the needle was like really sticky or something like that. Least favorite color to paint? Chris asked. Probably yellow. It depends though. I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't like red. I don't like red because it takes so many layers to get it to the red that you want it at. For me, anyways.
You gotta use that pink primer.
Yeah. I don't use the pink primer, and that's maybe I should start using that more.
Depends on the color you're going for. Exactly what red, but yellow's difficult because it depends on what you're building on top of. I mean, like if you're smart and you're using like white primer or pink primer, then yellow is usually pretty easy. But like if you're trying to paint yellow over gray primer, if you've ever tried that, you guys know.
That's why you go light to dark.
Yeah. So I mean, as far as like, I don't know if he's talking about like least favorite as in like which color is like the most difficult to paint, which I feel like is what we're talking about. I think he's talking about just kind of
what color do you hate?
Yeah, like kind of just the opposite of what's your favorite color.
Yeah.
Basically. In which case, I mean,
don't know if I have a color I don't like. Cause
Metallics.
you like metallics?
I mean, I just don't really use them or like using them all that much.
I mostly use metallics in like details, like pistons and like the inner. Yeah, I don't paint a kit metallic. I don't like that.
No.
So,
yeah, for that I do. Yeah, just hand painting, I guess, for whatever reason. He didn't mention airbrushing, but I was thinking airbrushing maybe because of the previous question. All right.
Do that imaginary skeleton one next.
Imaginary skeleton?
Well, after that one.
Oh, here. What dinosaur would you guys like to see in the imaginary skeleton line? Brachiosaurus. Brachiosaurus, which is still not painted yet.
Yeah, that would be cool. Have a Brachiosaurus or I don't know if they would do a Velociraptor or some sort of raptor because I feel like they're trying to keep them the same scale. So
yeah, I would think that a Stegosaurus would also be a likely one.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I wouldn't mind that. Yeah. I mentioned in my review of the Triceratops recently that I think it would be cool if they did something a little bit more obscure. Not like, I mean,
like an Ankylosaurus or
even more. I mean, that's still pretty obscure? Common.
Yeah.
That's still like one of the most well-known ones. I mean, like, I don't know.
The Dilophosaurus, although Jurassic Park's kind of made that mainstream.
Yeah, they could do a more scientifically accurate Dilophosaurus, but I actually watched an interesting video. This is going to be going on a dinosaur tangent now, but have you ever watched that channel? I don't know if it's the name of the channel or it's just the name of the video series, but like it's like your dinosaurs are wrong.
No,
that video. You'd probably like it if you guys are dinosaur fans. Basically, he's a guy, and I don't know his exact credentials. I imagine he was a paleontologist because he seems to know what he's talking about quite a bit. But like talks about like he usually start with like an old toy of a dinosaur and explain like how all like the proportions and everything's wrong, the details of it are wrong, just basically to explain like how dinosaurs actually looked as far as we can tell, based on the kind of the common thinking about it. And I recently watched this video about the Dilophosaurus, and like as far as like the Dilophosaurus head, even like we really don't know what the shape of the crest even remotely looked like. It's kind of like all they have to go off of is like half of a frill. So it's interesting. Yeah, speaking of the Dilophosaurus, but yeah, I don't know, like Carnotaurus. That's thanks to like the more recent Jurassic World movies and the series.
I will be right back.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, I think Carnotaurus would be cool too. It's a little bit more just kind of different shaped theropod. All right, Jordan asks, if you could pilot a Gundam like it's done in Build Fighters series, which would you pilot? So basically just like kind of playing the Gundam as like a video game, but I guess you have like the kind of ball things that you use to operate. I don't know exactly how those work, but I've always thought that the Rosenzulu would be a fun one to pilot. That's another one that I kind of bring up a lot as one of my favorite mobile suits. But the Rosenzulu I think would be cool just because you have like the wire guided claws and everything, and then you have your Sakomu rose bits things that are flying around. So you kind of have a lot going on that you can play around with as a pilot, I guess. Chad Smith asked, have any mobile suit appearances in an anime or in any other media inspired you to build its kit when you otherwise wouldn't have? If so, which moment is it? Interesting question. So like seeing the mobile suit in the anime made me want to build the kit. I would say a good example of that might be like the Shezram Gallus. But I've not actually ever built the kit, but like in the anime, in the Unicorn series, it was really cool to see in the series. And I think like the scene was really interesting, really fun to watch. So that makes me want to build the kit. I still have not actually ever built the kit though. So it's still one that I would like to build though in the future whenever I get a chance. So maybe when, I don't think that we recently got that kit in, although we did, like Adam said, we got a bunch of HGUC stuff and a bunch of stuff from Unicorn, but I don't think that kit got reprinted. But maybe next time I see that kit come available, I'll maybe try to pick one up. Let's see. George asks, what are your favorite grunt mobile suits? Grunt mobile suits. I was to just say the Zaku 2. Maybe kind of boring, but I mean, I love the Zaku 2. The F2 type is my favorite among them. Best paint or paint mixture for a top coat, Daniel asked. For a top coat, I use Mr. Color, I can't remember, I think it's number 141. Mr. Color, and let me actually just search it real quick just so I can tell you exactly. But there's kind of, it's a really nice finish, I think. Oh, I think it's 141. Let me see. No. Wait a minute. Let me see. Haven't airbrushed for a while, so I don't remember exactly. No, I don't think that number is right. It's like clear matte, but it's not like the regular one. 182. Oh, okay, here it is. So yeah, 182 I think is right, or 182 or 181. 182. But also GX 114, super smooth, clear, flat. That's the one. There, I'll show you guys a picture. This guy, Mr. Color GX 114. That's what I like to use. I think that is a really nice finish. For if you want like a matte flat coat, but it's not like super matte. It's somewhat satiny. So yeah, it's got a really nice finish on it. I think it depends on the look you're going for. As far as like the mixture for that, I mean, you have to thin it. I would thin it. Oh, well, here, that's a good important point. Let me actually mention about that. Thin that with Mr. Color leveling thinner and some retarder. So this is, different companies make basically the same product, but this is the Mr. Company Mr. Retarder mild. So mix it, with your leveling thinner, and then add a few drops of that in, and this basically will slow it down even more. So you'll get like a really nice smooth finish. I use this like in top coat and everything, except not always surfacer, but even sometimes in surfacer I'll use this, but definitely in all my paints. So shout out to Jim for turning me on to this product. I didn't used to use this until it was recommended to me, and it definitely helps a lot, especially if you want like a really smooth finish on your paint. Let's see. Katie asked, do you like the Motoroid kits Good Smile makes? I have the Strelitzia, and I think personally I prefer MG RE100 Gundam kits. Yeah, I do like the Motoroid line, but you really can't compare the Motoroid line like to what Bandai makes. Just the products that Bandai makes, especially like the mecha models, is just like Bandai's on their whole other level as in terms of just like the quality and durability and everything. Like Motoroid, which would be like Max Factory and Kotobukiya, make awesome kits, and I love a lot of the kits that are made by them as well. But yeah, that's a really difficult comparison to make, because in comparison, Bandai is such a huge company, and like the resources and technology that they have is on a different level from Max Factory, which is a relatively small company. There's actually a couple really cool videos online that you can see, like tour videos through like the Max Factory production company, and really interesting. And you can see, I mean, like it's a pretty small space, but yeah, the Motoroid kits are definitely not on the same level of quality as what you would get, especially compared to like an MG Gundam kit. RE100, I mean, like that's definitely more of a comparable comparison. And from the Motoroid kits that I've built, I mean, they're all kind of different too, and I've only built a few of them, so I don't have a ton of experience with them. But I mean, they're relatively basic, but really nicely detailed, I think, and they look really good. Like the Strelitzia, I really loved that kit. It had its issues, and it had like some tricky seam lines and stuff on it, and it was not like the easiest kit that I've ever worked on, but I really liked it. It was a really fun kit to work on. It's one that I actually wouldn't mind getting another one at some point. I wouldn't mind getting another Strelitzia kit and painting it again someday. But I mean, and then I recently built the Motoroid power loader from the Aliens movie, and it's a really cool kit as well. So I mean, the reason that I like the Motoroid line is they make really unique and different kind of stuff, which is nice. So that's why I like those kits. But yeah, not for everyone. They're also, I mean, they tend to be a little bit more expensive, but again, that's just due to probably licensing for one, depending on what it is that they're producing, and then also just that they're just a smaller company, so the cost is more for them. If you were asked to design a Gundam in order to beat Goku? I feel like I should save this question to talk about with Adam. He'd probably be interested in answering this one too. But if you were to ask to design a Gundam in order to beat Goku, what technologies would you incorporate into your mech? I'll save that and try to remember to come back to that, talk about that if Adam comes back. Now that we have Slegger's gym, do you think they'll release Sayla's gym soon? That's a good question, Cliff asked. Maybe. I would say that's definitely a maybe. I mean, like, Sayla's a really popular character, and Bandai loves making those P Bandai HG Origins kits. I know that the Slegger's gym is not technically an Origin kit, is it? Now I'm getting that confused. But anyway, I think it is possible, yes. Chaz asked, when does the metal structure Sazabi come out? I'm not sure about that. I believe it was like beginning of next year, but it might be even later. It might be like middle or like fall. It might be like a year away. What's the most stressful part about the hobby? Stressful part about the hobby. For me, the most stressful, actually, this is easier than I thought. I thought this was going to be a difficult question. For me, the most stressful part about the hobby is not having enough time to do all the things that you would like to do at the hobby. So, I mean, like, all the kits that I want to build, all the kits that I want to do, like customizing or painting, whatever. There's just a lot that I would like to do, spending more time practicing different techniques and things like that, trying out different stuff. I just would like to have more time. That's the most stressful thing, like trying to prioritize stuff. Daniel asked, I'm trying to find a lacquer paint that matched the blue teal from the Ecopla Barbatos. Any suggestions? Well, let me take a look at the kit. Ecopla Barbatos. Yeah. Okay. Right. I don't know if I'll be able to tell you the exact color offhand. But for that light color of blue, well, I know that Gaia Notes is not easy to get here in America, so it kind of depends on where you're located, but that looks probably like it would match pretty well with one of the Gaia Notes Miku paints. So Gaia Notes came out with like a subline, I think, of like 3 or 4 paints that were like Hatsune Miku themed, and there's probably a light blue that matches that pretty well in that like release. That like I don't even want to call it like a subline. It's just like, I think it's like 3 or 4 different like specific colors that were Hatsune Miku themed. Other than that, I feel like there's good options, but I would have to spend more time. I don't want to take too much time right now to like look through all the paints carefully. And I have, unfortunately, all of my paints, I brought over all my paints, all my lacquer paints from Korea, but it's not like I don't have them organized at all. They're basically just in a box down there. I'm sure I have loads. So I probably have something in my paint collection here that I could say that's probably pretty close to that, but I would need some more time to kind of look through everything. But if you're really interested, and if that Hatsune Miku paint suggestion is not helpful, if you see this and you really want a better answer, I'm happy to dig more into that and help you to find that color. Just send me a message to my Facebook page or Instagram account, something like that, and I'll try to help you sort out a good color for that. But Julius in the chat asks, Zach, what do you miss most about Korea when it comes to Gunpla? I would say when it comes to Gunpla, I mean, the nice thing was that I could basically get anything that I need pretty quickly. But most of the kits, like, I was still ordering from Japan. So, I mean, there would still be like a wait time, which is not too much different. I mean, like ordering stuff from Japan, it's obviously like it's a much shorter physical distance, but it still takes a few days. It would still take, 4, 5, 6 days for something to arrive from Japan. And it's not that much different here. I mean, maybe instead of 4, 5, 6, it's like 5, 6, 7 days for stuff to arrive. Here it's still pretty quick. But I mean, like if I really like, if I needed a bottle like the top coat we were talking about before, like if I needed a bottle of top coat to, like, to finish a project, I could order it just online in Korea and it would be there like the next day. So I mean, like that is not something that I've dealt with too much yet. So I'm sure I will miss that maybe more in the future, like when something like that occurs. But so far, I mean, like it's not really been that much different other than just like the actual like working space. So like my working space that in my office that I was working in before there in Korea was a little bit larger than this space. So that was nice. This space is smaller, so I've had to kind of adapt to this, and I just have a lot of stuff to try to fit into here. So it's been kind of difficult, but let's see. Black number one said, I'd give a kidney for the Miku paints in the US. Yeah, the thing about paints like that is like I have some of those like from Gaia Notes. Like I have some of their Evangelion paints and some of their Dugram paints and some of their Virtual On paints. They Gaia Notes makes some really cool like these like little sublines of paints and like lots of really cool colors. The thing about that though, it's really cool to get those and they are really nice, and that is definitely one thing that I'll miss about. But even in Korea, I didn't really buy those that often. I would usually buy stuff like that like when I went to Japan and then just bring it back. But the cool thing about those is, I mean, like it's nice to have all those really unique and interesting colors just like straight out of the bottle. But I mean, if you really wanted that color, you could just mix it. So I mean, like if you're really, really super wanting those Miku paints, you could just, I mean, it would take a little bit of work and maybe a little bit of experimentation, but you could just mix those colors by yourself, just using other colors. Anything's possible. Depending on exactly what blue you're going for. I mean, like I would imagine you could get like a really nice bright blue, something like that, by just using kind of white and I don't know, whatever kind of like a little bit of like a blue, green, teal blue, and then like mixing in some fluorescent blue, something like that. I don't know. Depends on exactly what the color you're going for, but I mean, you could do it. All right. How many orders do you all receive in a day? Kevin asked. That'd be another one that Adam would have to answer for you. I think that I know and I could guess, but Adam would be able to tell you a lot more accurately what like an average would be. But I know it's hundreds. It's a lot. And I think probably a more interesting number for you guys would be how many orders do we get shipped out in a day rather than how many orders we receive in a day. But yeah, that's another one I'll try to remember to ask and let Adam answer when he comes back. If he comes back, he didn't say where he was going, so I'm not sure if he's coming back. Let's see, Mafiuyu, a friend of the channel, asked, seeing all the crazy things going on with the RG Gaogaigar, metal parts, movable tracks, etc., do you think we have the chance to see the same effort put into RG Gunpla? I mean, I would think so. I mean, I think it really just depends on what the release is. If it was a mobile suit that they were able to, or like that it made sense to put some of that technology into, I would say that, yeah, why not? If they have that technology available to them. If it doesn't really make sense for that particular release, then I mean, possibly not. So it just kind of depends what it would be. Miku hair color changes from time to time. Yeah, I mean, that's true. And it depends on, there's many different versions of Miku. I mean, like they're putting out different versions all the time, like different Sakura versions or racing versions. I mean, you see all sorts of different like garage kits of Miku put out all the time, stuff like that. I mean, so there's not, I feel like there is kind of like an exact color palette kind of, but yeah, I think it's so open to interpretation that you also don't really necessarily need to worry about getting your colors exactly right, just because there's so many different ways that you could go about painting that. Let's see. Connor asked, I'm moving shortly. Zach, how do you pack your unbuilt clipped kits? Did any deform in the heat? My AC is broken, so I have 465 cooling, 4 windows down, driving 65 miles per hour. It would take some pretty extreme heat, I think, to deform anything. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But as far as packing your unbuilt or clipped kits, I mean, if it's an unbuilt kit, I just left it in the box and didn't do anything with it because, I mean, you can't really pack. Usually the unbuilt kits, I mean, like if it's like a brand new kit, usually they're packed pretty tightly in the box, so it's not like you could really pack much else in there with it. So if it's an unbuilt kit, I didn't do anything special. I just took it. But clipped kits, I did do this for like some of like the larger kits. Like I did this for a couple of like the Mechanicore kits that I have before moving. I just went through and just cut out all the parts. So I mean, it's such a big box, and so I could reduce the amount of contents in there if you just go through and just clip out all the parts. So what I would do is just like clip out all the parts for an arm and put that into like a Ziploc bag, and then put all the parts for one leg into one Ziploc bag. So I'm like taking like a full box full of a brand new kit and all the runners and all the parts on the runners and everything, condensing that down into like 10 plastic bags full of parts. Now it's taking up like, rather than 100% of the box space, it's taking up like 30% of the box space. And then I can put a bunch of other kits into there and fill the box. So that's how if I wasn't doing that, if I was packing like already built kits, that's what I'll do. I'll take like one like high grade box, when the kit's brand new, unbuilt, the kit is taking up, one kit is taking up an entire box. But if you have just already built kits and just put into like a Ziploc bag again, so I have like loads of kits in Ziploc bags. So I'll take the instructions, fold the instruction booklet in half, put the kit in there all into like a sandwich size Ziploc bag. Usually is big enough for like a standard HG kit. And then what I can do is then put like 4, 5, 6 HGs into kits into one HG box. So I still have like everything like in boxes, but like a lot of boxes have like lots of kits in there. What I'm doing now, actually, now that we're getting settled in here, is actually going through all my boxes and like writing down actually what all I have, and like I write it down on a little sticky note and put it on the side of the box so that like I know what's all in that box. I don't have to open it up. So I'm like in my garage, I have my shelf with all these boxes and all these sticky notes on them with like what's all inside all the boxes. So I have a lot of stuff. Omari asked, do you think there are large mobile suits or mobile armors that would be near impossible to make as HGs? Like for example, the inlay. I don't think the inlay would be impossible. Maybe it would. It would be, because even the 1/400 scale resin kit is huge, pretty big. And that's wonderful. I think for like the really super big stuff, they just wouldn't make it in 1/44. They would make it in like 1/550. Like for example, they had like the HG Mechanics line, which I think was a really cool line. It's a shame that they haven't continued. There's only like the 3 releases in the HG Mechanics line. But I think if it was too big for them to make and like 1/144 scale, and I think like the Neo Zeong is probably the biggest that they're ever gonna make, something like that. If it was any like in universe, if it's larger than that, I wouldn't expect to see it as a 1/44 scale. But if they release it as like a 1/220 scale or a 1/550 scale, something like that, I think I'd be fine with that. It would be cool. But yeah, there's definitely some really cool ones that I would like to see. I would love to see a new design of the Big Zam. Speaking of which, Katoki there's a Big Zam like Katoki version, and I wonder if they would be crazy enough to do as in a master grade 1/100 scale, though. That'd be, I think, probably too big. It would be huge. Like a master grade Big Zam would be like this big, and it'd probably have to cost like $300 or more. I think it'd be too big, but that would be cool if they were coming out, if that's what they're doing for like the 20th anniversary of master grade Verka release. If they came out with a master grade Verka Big Zam. If you guys are unfamiliar with Katoki's illustration or Katoki's version, his take on the Big Zam design, check it out. It's a really cool design, actually. I like it more than the actual like anime version Big Zam, but I don't know if that's what they would make or not. Anyway, I would love a nice new version of the Big Zam. Would be awesome. If it was just like a HG Mechanics kit, even a 1/44 scale, I think they could make a 1/44 scale Big Zam. It would be big. I mean, it would be like this big, something like that, I guess. But they've made much larger HGs, so I think they could definitely make an HGUC Big Zam. I'm really surprised they haven't, actually, to be honest. They haven't made any kits of the Big Zam since the 80s, since like the old 80s kits, which I believe that kit's like 1 to 220, something like that. Small. It's just pretty small. Let's see. Brian asks, what is the general consensus on re-entering customs into different competitions, especially ones hosted by different communities? Also, is there going to be a GBWC this year? I don't know what's going on with GBWC. It's not GBWC as we are familiar with it from years past. I believe there's some sort of competition going on, but Bandai's, I don't know, maybe they're better in Japan, but at least here in the US, from my point of view, Bandai's really not very good at promoting stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. That should tell you something. I mean, like, I'm fairly connected. We mean like just like with what's going on in the community, but I mean, I don't know. So couldn't answer that. But the first part of your question is really interesting, and I don't know if it's something that I ever really have talked that much about ever. So it's a good one. And basically what he's asking about, what I feel about people entering their custom builds into more than one contest. So like, say, for example, we have our custom Mecha Musume contest that's currently ongoing. If somebody built like a custom 30-minute sisters kit for our contest, and then like a couple months later, even like at the same time, but or like a couple months later or next year or something like that, somebody else, whether it be Bandai or like some other content creator or somebody, was hosting like a 30-minute sisters specifically contest, and somebody wanted to use their custom 30-minute sisters build that they originally built for our contest. They wanted to reuse that in a different contest later. It's a tricky one for me. On the one hand, I would say, if that's what you want to do, go for it. And of course, the main thing is if as allowed. Usually people will, contests will stipulate if that's allowed or not. And I think generally a lot of the times they usually stipulate that it's not allowed. But I mean, if they allow it and that's what you want to do, then I don't see why not. But for me, I don't think that I would do it necessarily myself, just because I don't know. Like if I was making a contest entry, like specifically for a contest, I would feel like, I'm making this for that. When another contest comes along and I have the option, I could use this build that I already built, or I could make something new. I would just want to make something new anyway, just because I just enjoy making something new. I would take the opportunity to make something new for that new contest. But if the contest was a contest that allowed for multiple entries, maybe what I might do is use that one that I already have and also make something new and enter both. That I would do that, I guess, if that was an option. Most online contests, I believe, usually don't allow for multiple entries. I think maybe sometimes they do, and it depends on the contest. But like if it's a in-person contest, like an IPMS contest like that, I mean, usually you're allowed to enter, like, I think as many as you want. There might be a limit, but in that case, I know people will often enter more than one kit sometimes, or maybe it's like one kit per category. I don't know, but yeah, that's my thought. What were your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, where I think in general, it's just not really much of an issue unless it's somebody that's breaking the rules to do it. So I mean, I just don't really hear that much about it, or I think most people don't really care too much and don't pay too much attention to it. It's only when it becomes an issue when somebody has broken that rule. So like if somebody entered a contest and won with their kit, and then like later they enter a contest and like the rules of that contest is that it has to be a new kit or something, then obviously they're not using that, then they would be in trouble. Or some people do. I have seen people get like kind of salty feelings about that, like, oh, you already won a contest with that kit, so like basically in their mind, like the purpose of that build like is already fulfilled, like to win that contest. So it's kind of unfair to then put that up against other people's work in a new contest. So I don't know. It's interesting. Pat asked a question there in the chat. Who's the next artist for your new t-shirt line? I need to get back to that. I do need to get back to that, definitely. It's been something I've been wanting to get back to for a long time. I have an idea. but I've not asked that person yet. So I feel like I probably should check with them first before I tell you guys. But yeah, I do want to get back to that. Hopefully soon. Okay. Let's see. I've been taking all these questions so far from the Facebook page. I feel like I should probably switch platforms here. Let's go over to the YouTube community tab. Answer a few from here. When will Zach return to be more of a modeler and less of a salesman? Bloodraven asked. I mean, even now, I know like the majority of the content that I'm doing now is mostly reviews and not that much like modeling stuff. And it's not really so much to do with being a salesman. It's just to do with I just haven't had an airbrush set up. If you guys haven't heard me talk about, there's no windows in this room, so there's nowhere to put air ventilation for an airbrush. But as you can see, I do have the spray booth, and there's a compressor down there as well. So that setup is on the way. Yeah, just the problem is the ventilation. There's nowhere for the air to go in when you're using lacquer paints. You can't just work in like a confined room and just like fill it up with lacquer fumes. Not a good idea. So that's kind of been the main impeding factor as to why I haven't spent more time doing modeling. Because even hand brushing stuff, there's a couple of things that I've been working on hand painting. I mean, that's still, hand painting with lacquers. I'm still getting the fumes, and it'd be good to have some kind of ventilation. So that's been the reason. It's not so much that like, I think I've heard this from other people too, and it's unfortunate that this is what people are thinking, but thinking that I'm just only focused on doing reviews because it has something to do with the fact that I'm like working here at the warehouse now and then like have to sell you guys stuff. But no, it's just that I have a very large backlog of kits to build and review and share with you guys. I enjoy doing that. That's not like something that like yeah, I would rather be, just painting and doing custom models, but, I have to do reviews. It's my job. I mean, like, that's true to a degree, but I mean, I enjoy just building kits and making reviews for you guys. So if I'm not able to paint and I have a large backlog of stuff to review, that's what I'm going to do. But I do try to mix it up for you guys. When I can, I try to, throw in some other different kind of content in there. So it's not totally reviews, but once we get this working, I can definitely work on some more painting projects. And I do have a lot of stuff that I'm working on that's kind of like in the mix. So hopefully that answers that for you. Calder asked, are Sunin 7 water-based paints? So Sunin 7 are acrylic lacquers. So it's basically similar to like Gaia Notes. Kind of type paints, something along those lines. And I think somebody asked in the questions, I'm not sure if we'll find the question, but I saw it earlier. Somebody was asking if I could demo the Sunin 7 paints. So I will do that now that I have this set up. And we recently got Sunin 7. We recently started carrying that line of paints here. So again, somewhat salesman-y. Yeah, I have to show it to you guys because it's something that we're carrying here at the store now, but I'm just genuinely interested in trying out the paints as well. I just want to try them out for myself. So I'll try them out, share my thoughts with you guys. And there you go. Gunpla Joey in the chat said he'll be trying them out soon too. So you guys can check out his videos when he comes out with that. I'll be trying them out and I'll let you guys know what I think. And I'll give you my honest review. I'm just a very positive person. That's the other thing too, is people think that I'm like always try to spin everything in a positive way just to try to sell it to you guys. But I'm just kind of generally a positive person about things. I don't like to get like really negative nitpick about stuff like that. Like, this paint's trash. Don't buy it. Like, I'll tell you guys if the paint's just fine and nothing really too special. But we'll see. Anyway, moving on. What introduced you to Gundam in the first place, and what was the first model kit of Gunpla? Mercury asked. So this is a question I know that like Adam and I both have answered a bunch of times, but basically back in the Toonami days, around the turn of the century, millennia, 2000, when Toonami was first airing Gundam on TV here in America anyway. It was a big deal. A lot of people my age all got into it around that time, and so that's how I got into Gundam. And my first model kit, as far as I can remember, my first model kit was the HG1100 scale Shenlong kit, which is interesting because the new HG144 scale Shenlong just arrived, and I just unboxed it yesterday, and I'm going to build it up over the weekend. So that'll be something that I'll be reviewing next week. So that the Shenlong kind of holds a bit of a special place in my heart because of that. It was the first or one of the first model kits that I ever built, Gundam model kits. Seeing all the okay, that's the Mafiu's same question. We already answered that. Giovanni asks, would you guys ever have a contest where we can only use vintage kits? Oh yeah, definitely. That's something that I've wanted to do. So like this current contest that we have going on, the Mech Musume contest, is one that I've wanted to do for a long time. So I'm happy we're finally doing that. But yes, another contest idea that I've had for a long time is doing a vintage kit contest. So it'd be like you can only use Gundam model kits that were originally released like before the year 1990, something like that, something along those lines. So yeah, definitely that's something that will probably happen at some point next year, I would say. I can't say that it's going to be the next contest, but it will definitely be one of the next contests, either the second, third, or fourth one from now. Anyway, at some point, probably during next year. Yeah, definitely. That's on my short list. Will asked, what HGs or MGs, assuming they're not at the top of Bandai's list for an updated new MG mold, do you think would be great RE? Oh, okay. So I don't think that there's any currently existing MG releases that they would also make into an RE100 kit. I don't think that would happen, but I think what is much more likely to happen, and something that we could much more likely see, would be something that exists as an HGUC kit, and then for them to make a RE100 version of that. Welcome back. Sorry. There's a couple of questions that I'm trying to keep in mind to ask you.
Sorry, everyone. Sorry. Business.
The current one is any HGUC kits that you think would make a good RE100? I think there's a lot.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot.
Yeah. Silver Bullet.
Yeah,
I'd love a master
Silver Bullet
of that,
suppressor. I like the suppressor version of the Silver
yeah,
Bullet.
We talked about that.
Yeah,
it's probably like my least favorite version of the
but it's
Silver
my
Bullet.
favorite. Yeah, that. I mean, the Kshatriya.
The Barlet Custom would be
Barlet
cool.
Custom would be awesome. Yeah, that would be really cool, actually.
Some of like the little bit more obscure like HGUC ones.
Yeah, what's that one we just got in? It looks like a squid. Why? It's a Zeong, like, can't think of it now. We just got some more in. We haven't had them in forever.
Looks like a squid.
Yeah, he's got like a little squid looking head. It's purple. I think it starts with an A.
Ak guy?
No, not the Ak guy. No. Although that's underwater Mosa, but no.
I don't like the old.
No.
It's the old.
I'll have to show
kit?
you. Right. Sorry.
I don't know. It's not Hygog.
No.
But the Hygog would make a really great. I mean, it'd make a great RE100, but I would really, honestly, I mean, as much as I love RE100, I would love a proper MG of the Hygog. Would be awesome.
Yeah, which I'm surprised they haven't made an MG of that yet, because the high grade does extremely well sales wise. So
yeah, I mean, like they've made MGs of like the GOG, the Ak guy, other like aquatic Zeon mobile suits. So.
Maybe that's the next Verco.
Maybe. Another question somebody asked was, how many orders do we get a day? I thought it might be kind of more interesting to talk about how many orders we ship out in a day. But
yeah,
I mean, either of those, if you want to.
People going for all these trade secrets. No, so we ship out anywhere from 500 to, during Christmas time, we're probably hitting like 1,000. Some days, orders we get out.
Shipped out,
yeah, it just depends on the day. Depends what is announced. It depends what we get in. So for example, when we actually get in stock next week of the God Gundams, a lot of people will wait till something's in stock instead of pre-ordering it, and so we'll get a lot of orders right when it goes in stock. So those days will be bigger than some other days. So
that's like a lot of single item orders too, where like we can do like what we have done, and then like when we did that when the Virtue first came in, like where we just have like an assembly line of people just packing only just that one kit, and so you can get a lot more boxes.
At
one time.
Yeah. Like if anyone saw the picture that got posted when the God Gundams came in this week, that's literally kind of what Zach's talking about. If it's orders that just have just that kit in it, we literally can just print all the labels from everyone that has just that order, because it doesn't matter what the order is. Everyone's getting the exact same thing, only just one of them. So then we just stick and go. Whereas orders that people have ordered, like paint with the kit, stuff like that, that's kind of go through our picking process, because now we got to kind of pick everything else. So it does take a little bit longer to get out, but it's relatively quick, from the time that we get it in to the time that we get it out. It's, so it might take a day or two, which to the person waiting on it might be a while, but if you just knew how much stuff we actually get out, it's pretty fast.
The other question I saved for you was if you had to design a Gundam to defeat Goku, what kind of technology would you use? So I guess he means like something like a Psychomo system, or
would have absorption abilities.
Absorption.
So it would absorb the Kamehamehas and stuff and be able to use it back at him. Who had that? That wasn't Cell. Who was able to absorb? Someone was able to do that. Don't look like you're crazy. There was definitely.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I'm just trying to think if there's anything in the Gundam universe that has that sort of capabilities.
I would create it. I don't know if there's anything in the Gundam. There's the
Turn X. I feel like had something along those lines.
Did it? Didn't use like solar arrays and use the energy. Not the Turn X. I'm thinking of just the regular X. Sorry.
Yeah, you're thinking of Gundam X.
I'm thinking Gundam X.
That's using a moonbeam.
Yeah.
No.
The Turn X had that ability. I didn't watch Turn X. I have no clue what any of those.
I feel like I remember the Turn the Turn X's claw had like the claw hand that it has some kind of ability that maybe I don't know. I'm not sure that it can absorb. I'm not sure, but. I don't know what you.
If we're using just stuff for, that would be hard, because Goku's kind of indestructible. He can just he can be like Captain Marvel, where she's right through the that's what Thanos' ship,
I'm thinking. She just blasts through the
and then all of a sudden that's just gone.
Maybe if you had something like the Rosenzulu had with like the rose bits, where it can like trap Goku. Make him unable to move, but I mean, then
the
what
new
do you
had
do?
that too, right? The news funnels.
Right.
Yeah, well, you suffocate him.
I
guess. You can take all the air out of that and then suffocate him to death, or he'll just starve to death in there. No water, he'll die from dehydration.
I don't know. Just make sure he's not carrying any sensu beans.
Well, he can. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a tricky one. Been thinking about my first clear kit. So my question is, what's your favorite clear version of a kit? We've talked about this a few times.
I like the Snodgy that you got me.
Yeah, the mechanical clear ones are nice. Yeah, those MGs are the nicest ones.
Not a big clear color guy. Yeah,
especially like the clear color HGs. More often than not, I'm not really into them.
Yeah, they're only good if you're like putting them in a display case that has that was it ultraviolet? Not ultraviolet light.
Yeah, UV lights on it.
UV light on it.
Yeah, some of them are more reactive than others.
Are they?
Yeah, they're not all UV reactive. But what you can do is use like I've seen some really seen some really cool builds where I don't remember who did it, but with like the perfect grade Unleashed R72 Gundam, they got like the clear armor set for that. And then they used like some UV reactive, just like fluorescent paint or something like that to like panel line the details on the inside of the armor. Okay. So like when it's under UV light, you see like all these details and stuff on like the underside of the clear armor. It's cool. pretty crazy, pretty impressive. Another really cool clear build that I've seen was somebody who did an awesome build of the clear Woundwort kit. You know, they came out with a clear version of that as like a Gundam base exclusive. And he painted it in a way so that's like half painted, half clear. So like it kind of transitions to like the clear parts on it. So that was also a really cool build I've seen. So I mean, you can definitely do some cool stuff with those clear kits. What's your thought process when deciding on a custom color scheme for a kit?
We've talked about this, and
I almost bought a book the other day.
Did you really?
for this. Yeah, I was at the bookstore and there was a Pantone
That's cool.
color like scheme book. I thought that would be really good for
Yeah.
custom color schemes.
There's two things that I look at. One is like flowers. I'll look at those. The other one is sneakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sneakers.
People that make sneakers have already done the research for me.
Yeah. It's colors that work. Yeah. Another thing would be looking at other mobile suits. I mean, like taking a color scheme that that works. Like, for example, like the new Gundam's color scheme tends to work pretty well on basically anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like wanted to have like a custom color scheme for your like RG God Gundam, I actually have seen that already. Somebody painted the RG God Gundam with the new Gundam color scheme, and it looks awesome.
Yes.
So just doing like that, just adapting the color scheme from a different mobile suit. Obviously, Char's colors is a common one you see on everything, or RX-72 colors.
Breaking news, by the way. The high new metal builds just arrived.
Oh,
yeah.
Just arrived.
Just arrived.
So where's my shipping notice? It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
Have y'all watched the pilot for the new Gundam series, Wish from Mercury?
I have not
the
yet.
prologue episode.
Yeah, I every time I mean to, I get distracted. Yeah. So and I know we were going to look at it that one day, and then it wasn't even out in our country yet that they released.
It is now.
Yes,
but so far, same answer as last time. I skimmed through it and watched like a couple minutes here and there, but I've not watched it in its entirety yet. Hyakushiki color scheme on a Kasi. I can't imagine that would be good. Probably look like trash. Just kidding.
Hyakushiki on a Kasi.
Joey's painting that already, or he's done painting that. Is that finished yet or no? I've seen all the work in progress photos and stuff he's been posting. I haven't seen if it's done yet. Let's see here. Hey guys, Connor asked, y'all ever play around with the idea of pins? Would be awesome. To have an enamel pin of your best sticker. So like pins. We have
Apex pins.
Yeah,
we have those
for sale on the website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless they're sold out. And then we do every Thanksgiving during our Thanksgiving sale. There's a special pin that we make in the giveaway sets too.
Any other pins you think that we might make at any time or something? I mean, anything that's licensed, you just can't really do. So that's the thing. I mean, if you wanted to make like a Gundam head, I mean, I'm sure there's all sorts of stuff like that, like on Etsy.
Yeah, it's basically like everything. I mean, there's a possibility, sure.
Yeah. If you have any specific ideas, Connor, you'd like to suggest, I mean, let us know, surely. Jazz asked, what kit do you think would have been released already, but for some reason hasn't? I already mentioned earlier while you were gone, I was talking about Big Zam. I don't know why they haven't made a newer version of the Big Zam. And I thought because there's a Kotoki version of the Big Zam design, maybe that's the next Verka.
Maybe.
Big Zam. Big MG.
Big MG.
But he said, I would have thought a Zaku 1 2.0 would have come out during the Origins run, or a Girazulu MG. Yeah, those are both really good examples.
Yeah, they those are the Girazulu for sure. I don't know why we don't have that yet. They had that resin conversion kit, but no,
even a Bandai. A 2.0 version of the Zaku 1, I don't know. It is kind of weird, and it's something that both of those are examples of something that they can make lots of variations of too. Which,
so P Bandai's,
which is nice.
Doors open.
Yeah. Other than that, that for some reason hasn't. Well, the Hygog's another one that is kind of surprising that I haven't got that, or like a 2.0 of the GP series MGs is one that we talk about a lot. Seems very due.
I have a feeling all these we're talking about are probably in the works. I would think.
That's,
when they're having their meetings.
Sure, they're all on the short list already.
Yeah.
Let's see. What was the Gundam kit that you built? I remember building the wings. What was
maybe first?
I think that's. I think you left out a word there. What was the first Gundam kit you built? I actually just answered that just while you were gone. Somebody had a similar question. How about you?
Mine was a 1/100 no grade Astray red frame Astray from Seed. Was the first actual Gundam kit that I built. I remember seeing the Gundam kits. I remember seeing the commercial and the Gundam kits in Toys R Us. And then as a kid and being intimidated, like, oh, I can't build that. It won't look as cool. So I didn't get them. But then when Seed came out, I went to a Hobby Town and got a red frame Astray. And then I remember being confused because I don't remember seeing that in the series. But because it's its own.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
I just had the question there. What was I going to say? Yeah. Favorite line. Saul asked, what's your favorite line of Gunpla?
Master grade.
High grade. HGUC. HGUC specifically is probably my favorite, just for the aesthetic of it. But it's quite a wide range. I mean, like early HGUC kits, not the best. Depends on the kit. Like some of the really early ones, like the Dom Tropins, like one of the first ones, is still a great kit, but some of them not so much. But HGUC in general is always good for me. Let's see. How's Bandai reacting to stores selling more third-party kits, accessories like Heavy Weapon System, Hyper Mega Bazooka for HG, or for the new High New? We had like the same question.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question.
While you were gone, but I answered it. Maybe you can give your answer this time.
I mean, as long as you need to buy a Bandai kit, for example, even like resin dress-up kits, you got to buy the regular Bandai kit. So Bandai's making money because of these other things, and they haven't told me to not do it. If they ever did, we would stop. So, but I think we're okay as long as you've literally got to buy a Bandai kit in order to even use that. I mean, it's just like selling a gun, like a weapon system, not a real gun, just a weapon system for a model kit. It'd be like if they came out and be like, you can't sell that weapon system, and it's just like a rifle. So, I don't know if that was like your answer or not.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Calder asked, would you like to see more P Bandai phase into regular releases such as the Geminis Polypop Ball?
Yeah. They've never made a P Bandai into a
standard release.
Yeah. I know they have planned for a P Bandai to be a kit, to be a P Bandai kit, and then had to make it a regular release, but they've never released it as P Bandai and then said, hey, let's make it a regular release now.
I think like the closest thing to what he's asking would be they have done that with certain kits where in Japan it was P Bandai and they sold it here as a standard release. Right. But while that's true, like the red frame or the Red Dragon Astray was an example of that, or like the XN Riser Master Grade kits. They've done that with a couple of those kits like that.
It wasn't the Red Dragon. It was something else for the Astray Master Grade.
Is that wrong? I didn't build it. So.
Yeah, the Red Dragon was a P Bandai.
V-fin, was it?
It was. It had like 2 swords.
Yeah,
it wasn't Red Dragon.
Something like that. Anyway,
sorry.
I know the XN Riser is an example of this, but the thing about it is that even though it's not a P Bandai kit here, because it's a P Bandai kit in Japan, it's not going to get like the normal reprint schedule. Right. It might be reprinted, later, so eventually sometimes. So I mean, like, even though it's not technically P Bandai, I feel like the availability is basically the same.
Right.
Like it's going to be still a pretty limited kit. It's not going to be something that they're going to be like reprinting every year. So, I mean, even in those instances, yeah, it's nice that it's not premium Bandai here, but it's still a limited kit, basically. I don't think that they'll ever take a kit like the Geminis or the Polypop Ball that was already released as a P Bandai and then just release it later as a standard release. That's never going to happen. Yeah. But if the ratio changes of like how many new releases are released as P Bandai compared to 10 releases.
Turn red. That's what it was.
Was it?
Yeah. You weren't here in America, so
no, I'm turning red because I got the name wrong.
You get a pass.
Do I think that they'll like turn down the amount of P Bandai releases in the future? Probably not. No. I wouldn't think so. I think it's more likely that they'll just ramp up the production of standard release stuff.
Yeah.
But I think we'll still see a pretty
good amount of P Bandai.
Yeah. A lot of P Bandai stuff. What tool would you like to sell? Or what would be a substitute for the Edge Scriber that's been out of stock for
Edge
a
scraper.
long time. Like the tool you can like slide it along the
We
edge
have
of the
the
plastic,
ceramic,
and it makes
yeah.
the
Yeah, we got the ceramic scraper that does the same thing from SMS.
I don't think that's the same. We're not talking about the same thing.
No, that's used for edges.
This one. Does it do the same thing? I don't think so.
Yeah, it does. It's exactly what it's for. Edge scraper. Ceramic scraper.
Mine was right here, but it's not here. So I don't know where it is.
You mean just a hobby knife that you
No,
use
no,
to
no.
scrape the sign?
No. It's like the blade is shaped like this. It's like this. And it's like a 2 millimeters here, and then like 3 millimeters here, and then you run that along the edge too. Basically, it makes a panel line on the edge of the line there. That one.
Yeah, those don't do very well.
It's a cool tool.
It's a cool tool.
I use mine. I don't know where it is in the moment, but I do use it when situation calls for it. I like it.
I don't remember what company made that. I don't think we're. Just Tamiya makes them.
I don't know. Yeah, the one that I have, I think is Tsujiborido. I think.
No,
So
that's probably why we.
yeah,
Yes, they were sued because BMC is who we used to get them from.
Yeah,
and
that's why. That's
why we don't have them anymore. It's
Yeah.
all clicking now.
Yeah. Any other tools you would like to sell though? I mean, I guess because we sell all sorts of tools, but I guess what he's asking is maybe like USA Gundam Store branded tools or Apex Hobby branded tools.
Yes and no. The problem with tools is it's got to be something that people buy regularly. So like your nipper, our nippers they're good quality. People can add them to their cart. It's a readily bought thing, so you can make them in mass amounts of quantity and be fine. Whereas some more obscure tools that are good, you're not going to maybe sell mass quantities. So then can you make them to make sure your price is competitive to companies that are mass producing them or have the ability to mass produce them, and then send them all over the world? If you can't, then there's no point in making one. You just buy theirs and sell theirs. So
yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense. There's a lot of Despae makes a lot of really cool tools. Like they make some really neat stuff that like other companies just aren't even doing yet. Right.
That's the problem with making tools too, is that once one company comes out with the tool, then other companies jump in. Do it.
So I mean, there's a lot of like things that you could probably mimic. Obviously that's what I would do if I was, but can you make it at the same cost or cheaper to sell it around the same price? And
then is it really worth the effort?
Right.
I mean, because
then just buy theirs and sell theirs.
Right.
None of that work or investment or anything.
Yeah. So it's a tricky one. I mean, like to come up with like new tools or some like a new type of a tool. So like rather than just like kind of the standard hobby knife, how do you like innovate on that to come up with like a new version of that that's in some way better, that people would want to buy that instead of other ones? I don't know. It's not easy. All right. Reiji says, hear me out. MG Figure Eyes is a thing, so why not have a kit of Katoki himself for the anniversary Verka?
That will never happen.
Or maybe like a bust. Like
I
a
feel like it
kit
still wouldn't happen.
Like Katoki. Like that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be really funny. But for real, anything from the Gundam fixed figuration line could become a Verka. So what would you choose from it? I mean, I think there's a fixed figuration Gelgoog that's pretty cool looking. That immediately comes to mind. Otherwise, I was thinking about this just recently when like Unicorn was first going. The first time I ever saw the full armor Unicorn was seeing the fixed figuration figure of the full armor Unicorn, because I think that came out before there was ever any model kits of it. That thing was so cool looking. I just remember seeing that in stores in Japan, that fixed figuration full armor Unicorn. I'm like, that is awesome. Really want to buy one of those. But it was like, of course, like $150, something like that. It's crazy expensive, if not more than that. But yeah, that thing blew my mind.
What if it's a Master Grade EX full armor unicorn?
Oh God,
They could do a unicorn in that way. That's how they could do
that
it.
is not impossible, unfortunately. Yeah. Even though that still blows my mind why the MGEX was like half full armor. It had the 3 shields, it had the 3 double Gatling guns. It was like almost there to just being like the full armor. Like, why wouldn't they just?
Because they were waiting for the 20th anniversary.
How
mad are you gonna be?
Bruh.
If that's what.
I mean, I love the unicorn, so I wouldn't be that mad. But I mean, I would feel bad for everyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because I would still enjoy it, and it would be somewhat disappointing that it wasn't something like more new and exciting. But
yeah,
I would just feel bad, probably more so for everybody else who would be like,
yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be a full armor RX-78.
yeah,
so they could do a 2.0, but make it the full armor version. So you can have a 2.0, and then you have all the other armor too. That would be neat.
Because that's an MG that's always in demand too. Yeah. I don't know. That would be cool. All right, so we'll get a couple more questions here, then we'll get to the giveaway. Do you know if Kodo will be releasing more repackaged version HMM kits like the Berserk Fury, for example? I mean, it seems like they're kind of going through all of them.
Yeah, especially now that we can get them here. They're just kind of going every month. I think every month we're at least getting one. So
there's a lot, and they just announced a couple more. There's a repackaged version.
Shadow Wolf.
Yeah. Shadow Wolf, and then there's those 2 new ones, that are coming out, smaller ones. They seem like kind of smaller, like similar to like the Rev Raptor kind of size, small size ones. But the HMM releases from Kotobukiya seem to be still going strong. What series could Bandai revisit that you'd like to see new Gunpla for? Gundam X. I mean, we have like the Gundam X, the Double X, and that's it. In MG.
Crossbone.
A little bit more than that in HG.
Crossbone, it's not P Bandai. Was it the Phantom one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. That or I mean 00 like Stardust Memory, aside from the GPO1, GPO2, GPO3,
there's not really
would be nice to get 2.0s, but also I mean there's the Hygog. It'd be nice to get an MG Hygog. It would be nice to get an MG what's the other mobile suit? I just had it in my mind. Other mobile suit from that series that would be awesome to get a new model kit from. I was just thinking about that. I don't know. New Gunpla. Now it's slipping my mind. Anyway, yeah, other stuff from that series. What's the thing that I can't think of suddenly?
Sorry, that one question with the Kshatriya threw me off here. Because we just got him in. Literally.
HGC Kshatriya.
Yeah.
Goof Custom 2.0. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah. Was it a 2.0? The Zaku F2.
Oh, yeah,
I would like to see a new 2.0 MG
nice.
of that. Yeah. That's another one that I don't know why they haven't made that based off the 2.0 frame. I mean, the frame wouldn't fit perfectly for the proportions of that mobile suit. They'd have to change. They could only use probably like half the 2.0 Zaku frame in it, but enough. Yeah,
we could do it.
Katoki drawing a Kapul. I mean, I would take an MG Kapul. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I would just take an HGUC Kapul. I don't know why they haven't come out with that. They have the runner. I know they've got the runners for it because they made the Momo Kapul kit, and like half the runners in the Momo Kapul kit just said Kapul on the label. So I know they got it.
Got to be in production somewhere in the process.
Recommendations for a PG kit that is detailed and has some shelf presence. I mean,
any PG,
any of them.
I personally like the Strike and the Red Frame because they're more posable. But honestly, right now, if you can find a PG that's decently priced, just because we just got the mega size RX-78 in, and I think they were gone. I'm pretty sure they're all gone. I mean, we did not get very many. We didn't get any perfect grades. So perfect grades are kind of
if like
produced.
Shelf presence is your thing. I mean, getting one of the PGs that has a LED gimmick.
The Exia.
Yeah, I would go for the Exia. The per grade unicorns is is cool, but if you want a big version of the unicorn, I mean, I would just go for the mega size. It doesn't have the LED gimmick, it doesn't transform, and et cetera, et cetera. But
yeah, but you're not really gonna do that.
It's a really cool looking kit either way.
Yeah.
But the Exia, yeah, I feel like it's probably the best.
The best bet. Better too.
The GPO1 perfect grade, I think, is such a really impressive looking perfect grade, but like just the color scheme is kind of boring. So like if like shelf presence is something you're really looking for, and like it's big, but I don't know if it's really kind of stand out with its color scheme, not like the Exia would be.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, like the red frame, like with its sword,
yeah,
I feel like would be kind of a thing. I mean, like but the thing is that throwing me off because he said detailed and shelf presence. Because as far as like detailed, like the most detailed, you would probably want to get like the Perfect Grade Unleashed RX-782 is definitely the most detailed one. But yeah, it's a little bit basic.
Yeah.
In terms of its shelf presence, so those things don't really go together well. Yeah. All right. Here's Joey's question for the last one, since he's here in the chat, or I think he's still there in the chat. There he is. If you could open up another store location anywhere in the U.S., where would it be, or would you remain in Florida? Well,
I mean,
assuming
we were not, well, we're never moving from Florida.
Yeah.
So, but if we could open a second location and keep Florida, probably somewhere out west.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, just because of, I'm thinking like logistics wise for like shipping and stuff. So one warehouse could ship West Coast, one could ship East Coast, which is what companies do. But also,
then what if you have something in stock here and not there, and you just send it from there?
Yeah, you still sell it, but we would get Gundam kits faster too, because everything is imported through the West Coast, and then we literally has to travel the entire United States to get to us. Whereas we could probably get it pretty quick if we were right there in California, but then it would cost more to do business in California. So
Las Vegas,
New York. We'll just go New York.
Come on,
Vegas. Vegas would be good because that's West Coast,
and it's near California. I mean, so it's not that far.
Yeah. So we'll just go Sin City and we'll gamble our money away.
Yeah. I really like New Mexico.
Why?
It's just a beautiful state.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
When did you go there?
Shout out to New Mexico. Like when I was 12.
It must be, if you remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I went 2 or 3 times.
National parks there?
Of course.
I'm sure there are, but
it's like parks. Loads of deserts and stuff, and like mountains and deserts. Like New Mexico, Colorado, Utah. I like barely went into Utah, but we went around Colorado and New Mexico quite a bit.
Because you like a road trip?
Yes, different times. When we went around Colorado a bunch, was a road trip. In New Mexico, we flew there. My aunt was living there, and so visited my aunt, and then just we drove around within the state, but we didn't drive from Illinois to there. Yeah.
Nice. There you go. Anyone that's in New Mexico.
There you go. Shout out. All right, let's give this guy away. Or gal, I guess we don't need to give a gender to our mobile suits.
Non-gender specific.
Let's see. Put this up on the screen for you guys. Full transparency among our 3 platforms. People ask why we don't post this on Twitter as well, but the way that like Twitter comments work kind of make it more difficult to do. So that's why we don't include Twitter.
Sorry, Twitter.
Sorry, Twitter. One. Which is Instagram, where we had 94, the most amount of comments. It was Instagram. 41, right in the middle. All right.
All right. Awesome.
Perfect. And I actually didn't take any questions from Instagram today, so sorry, Instagram.
Well, they're the winning questions.
There you go.
It, so.
1, 2, 3,
evens
4,
out.
5, 6, 7. No.
I don't know what that noise was I just made, but
I have to count these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah. Don't do that. A little more. 20 so far. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So it
here
loads
we
in groups
go.
of 20.
Yeah, so now
good
we
to know. Yeah.
And the winner.
There we go. Alfred.
Hey.
Congratulations. His question, are you going to take a trip to the movies to see Dawn's Island? Yeah, come out for a couple of days last week of September. So yeah, I'd seen that that's kind of play in the theaters here, but I would assume it's like very limited to like one theater in New York or something like that. Have you seen the details about that?
I have not. So if it's Phantom Events, if it's that, usually they'll play it here. They'll pick a theater and they'll have like one or two showings. If it's not Phantom Events, then Phantom or Fathom Events.
I don't know.
So because they're the ones that did the Dragon Ball Z movie, and so they made sure every city had it playing in at least one time in the theater.
Yeah.
So if it's done through them, I'm sure there'd be a theater here that we could watch it in, but I haven't looked into it, honestly.
Yeah, I've not either. I just saw it.
Yeah, I saw that
briefly. Yeah.
But hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
Send us an email to support@usagundamstore.com. We just need a picture of you logged into your Instagram account. We don't want any of your personal information other than your address and your phone number.
We'll need some personal information.
Yeah, so I guess we'll need some personal information. But yeah, so just send us that, what address you want us to send it to, and we'll get this out to you. Congratulations. Really cool kit. Yeah.
Yes, enjoy. All right, anything else for today?
No, just thank you everyone for all your support. Thank you guys for your patience. We're getting orders out as fast as we can. A lot of really cool stuff came in, so definitely check all that out. It is selling fast.
Check the list.
Yeah, if it's something you want, I wouldn't wait on it, because a lot of stuff we have not had in a while, and a lot of stuff is going pretty quick. So check that out, and then thank you guys, because without you we wouldn't be here. So,
yeah. All right, guys, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. And remember to that at the moment you've got less than a month now, but basically a month left for the Mecha Musume contest. So keep working on those, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
I did click